What's going on, guys? So it's actually the end of this video. We've already filmed it. It's already all been done. I have all the numbers and everything. But before we show you this, I want to show you what we're doing today. And that is, earlier we took a trip to San Antonio, Texas in our 2023 GMC Denali with the 3-liter LZO diesel engine. And we captured the fuel economy. And it might be a little surprising to you, especially how this thing performed in extreme heat driving up there and back. So the numbers are a little bit different than what you might think. So we're gonna actually show you the trip of us driving up there, talking about the fuel economy, and then coming back. Guys, hang tight. So we are inside of our 2023 GMC Sierra Denali 1500 pickup truck with the LZO 3-liter Baby Duramax diesel engine. This is an update on fuel economy. So today, it's pretty hot. The little temperature here says it's 96 degrees. Feel like temperature's probably into 105, 106 degree range, or even higher. That said, we're gonna be on about a 250-mile trip today, and we're gonna see just how good the fuel economy is on this truck now that we've had it for 13,182 miles, and you know, and it's hot outside because I think the heat has definitely been impacting the fuel economy on this truck. So we'll find out. Reset the trip. I have a full tank of diesel in it. Shows 459-mile range. Getting an average of about 15 miles per gallon at the moment. But we're going to go ahead and take this trip and we'll see. Okay, so we are 37.6 miles into our trip. Average miles per gallon at this point, 24.8. The range has creeped up to 484 miles to the tank. And yeah, the average fuel economy for the truck, 24.2, which comparatively speaking to when I was driving this closer to the beginning of the year, fuel economy's dropped down quite a bit. It's not nearly as good as it was. It's not bad. I mean, 24.8 is not bad at all. However, you know, on similar trips, I would get closer to, you know, 31, 32 miles per gallon if I really tried. Now, again, we're cruising. We have the cruise control set, and, you know, we're pretty much driving in the same conditions other than the fact that it's just really hot outside. So, kind of an interesting thing to see the impact heat has on the fuel economy on this truck. And given the fact that the truck has 13,221 miles, you know, we're about 12,000 miles greater than we were the first time we tested the fuel economy and got that phenomenal, you know, 32, 33 miles per gallon on the highway average, which is pretty dang awesome. That said, we still have quite a ways to go on this trip. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to the fuel economy. As you can see, it dropped down a tick because we were going up a little elevation there. But yeah, in about 100 plus miles, we should be where we're going, and then we're going to be heading back after we do a few things, and we'll see what the overall fuel economy of this truck is once we get there. Okay guys, so we are back. We are at 84 miles exactly in this trip. Average fuel economy, 24.5 miles per gallon. Average speed, 70.5 miles per hour. Average fuel economy of the truck, 24.1. Fuel economy range has actually improved, 495 miles remaining, 84 miles currently traveled. So yeah, this truck definitely still gets the range, but the fuel economy numbers are definitely lower than what they were in previous fuel economy tests, even on this same trip. So yeah, it's very interesting to see how, again, heat is impacting this and playing such a big factor. I can't really think of anything else that could be causing such a significant change in fuel economy on the truck. Again, it's getting about 5 to 7 miles lower fuel economy than it was getting on my previous longer drive test runs. So very interesting, but we still have a ways to go. We're going to see if that number improves at all. I don't anticipate it improving. If anything, it will probably hover around here, and then once we start doing some city driving and we get into more, you know, arterial roads, we'll definitely see that fuel economy number drop a little bit. But it'll be interesting to find out. But we're still on the road. We still have about, I'm going to guess, about 60 miles remaining on our trip, and we'll see what the fuel economy numbers look like when we get there. Okay, so we just got into San Antonio, 142.8 miles. We have 25.1 miles per gallon. Average speed is 73.6 miles per hour. So yeah, fuel economy isn't quite as good as it's been on previous trips. Okay, so 163.1 miles, 25.5 miles per gallon, average speed of 71.7, fuel economy 27 miles per gallon, and range 470 miles. So we are right around the corner from our destination, and this is essentially the trip to San Antonio, and we're going to reset the trip meter for the trip back to see what type of fuel economy we get on the highway trip going back. So it should be pretty interesting. Okay, so we are on the way back now. We have 2 hours and 21 minutes to go, 159 miles. I reset the trip when we started this trip, so we'll get a much better reading on how much elevation actually impacts the fuel economy, which we know it does, but we got to drive ahead of us, so we'll let you know when we get back. Okay, so we've been getting some really good fuel economy. We are still in San Antonio. There's the Alamo Dome right there, getting 36.4. A little while ago it was 38. Traveled 10.3 miles. Most of this has been flat or going downhill, which obviously is going to net you the best possible fuel economy. That said, though, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how well the fuel economy holds out on this trip. Now, it definitely is a lot later than it was before. And yeah, it's 5:44. The temperature's dropped to 94 degrees, so it's come down a little bit. It's still incredibly hot, just not as sunny outside. That said, it's going to be really interesting to see what type of fuel economy we're going to get. Hopefully, once we get back, about 149 miles from now, we'll see what that fuel economy looks like for this trip back, as well as I'll switch to trip 1 and we'll see what the average for the entire trip was. Okay, so we are 33.6 miles into the trip, 33.2 miles per gallon. We're doing pretty dang good. So the truck's definitely getting much better fuel economy on the way back from San Antonio down to Corpus Christi. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. So if I go to trip 1, you can see we've traveled a total of 225.8 miles. 25.4 is the average so far for this entire trip. And on trip 2, we're getting 33.1 right now. Average speed 61.5 miles an hour. 425 miles remaining to the tank. And you add the 226 to that, yeah, we're well over 600 miles total range on this tank, which is pretty dang insane. But yeah, we'll be on the road here for a little bit longer. Once we get back, we'll see what the overall average is. I'm kind of excited to see if the fuel economy numbers that we're getting on the trip back are really going to impact the overall average for the entire trip. So it'll be cool to see. But yep, continuing on. Okay, so as you can see, we hit a little bit of turbulent weather. We have a pretty severe rainstorm going on right now. Fuel economy after 112.5 miles of driving has dropped to 27.9 miles per gallon. This probably isn't helping that much, but it's only been raining for about the last 10 minutes or so, so fuel economy has dropped quite a bit. 71.4 mile an hour average speed. You look at the total trip, 25.6, 301.6 total miles driven. Still have a range of 364 miles. So if you think about this, we have 665 miles worth of range out of this tank, if it is accurate and continues on the way it's going. 666 miles. That is crazy. Yeah, so can definitely tell you that the fuel economy of the truck isn't as high as it was. It was holding in the 30s for a while as we left San Antonio, but now it's just right below 28 miles per gallon, which is not bad and is really good for a full-size truck. And I don't think there's really any other full-size, petroleum powered vehicle or truck that can, match these numbers, and they're still really good. Just, about 3 miles per gallon lower than what I was typically averaging on similar trips. So we'll continue, see what happens. We still have about 45 minutes left, about 46 miles worth of driving, and we'll be able to wrap this one up and give you all the total numbers when everything's said and done. So rain stopped. We'll see if the numbers pick back up. Okay, so big update. Total trip 335.9 miles. Average fuel economy for the entire trip 25.8 miles per gallon. Average speed 59.4, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. because both the trip there and the trip back, we averaged over 70 miles per hour. So it's taken the two, and again, it isn't really adding up. That said, trip 2, which is the return trip, 147.7 miles, fuel economy 28.1. Not bad at all. Not bad for a full-size half-ton pickup truck with a diesel. 72.1 is the average speed, and the average fuel economy for the truck total is 26.2. And again, 25.8 if you factor the trip there and back. So we didn't quite make up for the loss in fuel economy on the trip there, but certainly on the trip back we got better fuel economy. Now the temperature is back up to 97 degrees outside, even though it's 7:33. I feel like temperature's probably still well over 100, but 28.1 miles per gallon on the return trip, which means this truck still gets incredible fuel economy, but it's definitely still several miles off what I was initially getting on a very similar trip. So very, very interesting. What do you guys think? From a fuel economy perspective, you know, you get really good towing numbers, really good payload numbers for a half ton with this truck. Of course, because this is a Denali, you lose some payload capacity because of the features and amenities that make it a Denali. That said, you know, 28.1 is not bad, and if you can find the right trailer, the right RV to suit to this specific truck's towing capabilities, then you could have a, you know, pretty nice, effective, efficient towing vehicle for a more compact RV. But I'd love to know your thoughts. Please leave a comment below. So we made it back in one piece. Fuel economy on the truck is still pretty dang impressive, to be honest. You know, you got to admit, if you can get upwards of 28 miles per gallon on a full-size truck, especially with a diesel, and still have roughly 9,000 pounds worth of towing capacity, 1,500 pounds worth of payload capacity, you know, it's a pretty good day. We love the truck. The truck's awesome. Seats still aren't my favorite, so don't think that I've warmed up to the seats. I still think they're probably the least comfortable of any of the trucks this competes directly against. That said, though, overall the truck's a really comfortable truck. You know, the ride on it is fantastic. You know, it's just a really nice package overall. The technology inside of it is great. It works really well. The Google technology is just really, really welcome, because I no longer have to pull my phone out to use the app for navigation, any of that stuff. It's all built in now, which is pretty awesome. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. As you can hear, the cicadas are still out. I don't think they're going away anytime soon. Guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again very soon.